We are drafting MVP candidates for Super Bowl 59 here. We're going to go 4 rounds. We're going to snake it, per usual. Lizay's going to start. I'm going to go next. Kyle's going to go after him. Since the year 2000, boys, 16 quarterbacks have won MVP, 5 wide receivers, 2 linebackers, 1 safety, 1 edge. You guys know the safety and the edge? A little trivia?
Since what year you said?
Since 2000.
Von Miller.
Von Miller's the edge.
It's a Tampa Bay safety, Jackson, right?
Dexter Jackson.
Dexter Jackson.
There you go.
I got you, bro.
What a big brain.
Hey, man. Historian of the game.
All right. Lizay, you're kicking us off. Who you got?
So I went back and forth, and we just had bold predictions. I said Saquon was going to go under 100 yards, so I was going to go with him. But I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to win the MVP. If you look at the game 2 years ago, he was clearly the best player on the field. Right now, did have that costly fumble, but if he can play clean, I like Jalen Hurts because I like the Eagles to win this game. I like Jalen Hurts to be the MVP.
Okay. That actually, so I'm going to go, so it's Hurts there, you see on the screen, plus 350. He is the 3rd favorite. I'm just going to go chalk. I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's won it every single time the Chiefs have won it.
Facts.
It's obviously their favor to win this game. I'm playing to win here.
I hear
I'm
that.
following my heart. I'm following my head. And the head says Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you took Patrick, and he's definitely going to win the MVP. But I'll take Saquon because you didn't take Saquon Barkley in the first round. It'd be criminal if I didn't.
Yeah.
No running backs, though. You saw the list.
Yeah, well, Saquon's
no
the exception.
The
What did we say all
interesting
year?
thing is Damian Williams should have won it that 1 year, and Mahomes got it.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
We always talk about the exception to the rule. Saquon's the
Names.
exception.
I hear you.
A name helps. And when your name's
For
Saquon
sure.
and it's cool.
Okay, so
it
I
helps.
went Saquon, and now I'm
You
going to
snake it
go
back.
with somebody from the Philadelphia Eagles who we've talked about ad nauseum at the end of this season, particularly in big situations, big moments. Jalen Carter. I think Jalen
defensive
Carter
player.
could take over this football game.
I like that
If you
one.
get those advantageous looks, you talked about mugging maybe somebody over the
Correct.
A-gap, forcing the 5-0 call pre-snap, getting all these offensive linemen on an island. Yes, they are all tremendous in conjunction with one another, but let's spread them out. Let's pick them at the hip. Let's get them on different levels. Jalen Carter is a guy who can deliver in this big game, and I
like
think
that pick.
he could be a guy that wins the MVP.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go. Again, names win awards. I'm going to go Travis Kelce.
Yep.
He is the next biggest name after Patrick Mahomes on that team. So if Mahomes doesn't win it and maybe doesn't have a prolific yardage game, but a lot of those yards go to Travis Kelce, I think they'll give him a
that
little
one.
career achievement award. Career achievement Super Bowl MVP.
I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. Big game 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship game. We go back to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, had a 45-yard catch in double coverage where he literally slapped the defender by, went up and got the touchdown and scored. I think he's going to get advantageous coverage because Steve Spagnuolo is going to want to put a lot in the box to slow down Saquon Barkley. So who does that help? A.J. Brown on the outside. Again, you see the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You see what he did in the NFC Championship game 2 weeks ago. I think that rapport with Jalen Hurts, I know a lot of people question it throughout the season. It comes on strong in the biggest moments. So I like A.J. Brown.
Do you think they have Trent McDuffie follow him?
No, so that's the thing, and I'm glad we're talking about this. Honestly, when you see Steve Spagnuolo, he gives you something that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
I go back to last year's Super Bowl, and Trent McDuffie didn't follow Brandon Ayuk. You know who he followed? Deebo Samuel. I could see him doing something like that.
Take the easy stuff away. Force Jalen to be on time and in rhythm and make the right throw.
No question. So they're going to probably roll coverage to A.J. Brown, but then Trent McDuffie follows Devontae Smith. So I think Spaz can do that. The thing is, he hasn't had Trent McDuffie literally follow anybody all year long, and he hasn't put him in the slot, which is his best position. So it'll be interesting. He always gives you something different in the Super Bowl.
He's had them on third downs go find a guy. He did it with George Pickens. He's had them when they have a guy, like a one guy, but the Eagles, they got 2 guys. So I fully expect them not to do that. You got another pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go Xavier Worthy. I think he's a guy they're going to get the ball to not only in space, but maybe even on some end rounds, right? So he could be a guy. I know Pete, this is his darling for the potential dark horse MVP. I'm going to go Xavier Worthy.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to go, we just talked about Devontae Smith. He's high up on my board, but I'm going to go Zach Bond because he is a guy who makes game-changing plays, a forced fumble machine, a tackle machine. If it's a low-scoring game and it's a defensive battle that decides it, I think Zach Bond very well could get the MVP.
Ooh.
While I was talking about the defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles, it got me thinking about big old number 95, the guy that Orlando Brown was just talking about, Chris Jones. He is a guy that's like Reggie Jackson when it comes to playoff football. He is the Mr. October of the defensive side of the football. In the biggest moments, he makes the biggest plays. It doesn't matter if the slide's coming to him or away from him. He finds a way to win, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 guys. Chris Jones will find his way to the quarterback. And if Trent McDuffie's taking away some of the check down stuff, some of the underneath stuff, got to hold that ball. And Chris Jones is coming. I could totally see him winning the MVP.
All right, you're up again.
Well, you took Xavier Worthy. Nobody picked Trent McDuffie.
No one's picked Trent McDuffie.
What happens
yet.
if Trent McDuffie gets a pick 6? What happens if Trent McDuffie takes Saquon Barkley down a couple times inside the box, makes some big timely tackles? I would love to see Trent McDuffie win the MVP. If it becomes one of those types of games, we're in for a treat on Super Bowl Sunday.
All right, my last one, since my bold prediction was Milton Williams getting 2 sacks, I have to go with Milton Williams.
Love that.
He gets 2 sacks. Very well could be the MVP. That's my MVP pick.
That scares me.
Last and final pick, right? This guy has not been talked about. He's a really good player. Dallas Goedert, the tight end from Philadelphia Eagles. He's a guy that knows how to spot up his zone. He kills you down the seam. He could also make some hay when you talk about some of these linebackers having to cover in space, the Drew Tranquils of the world and Nick Bolton's. Look for Dallas Goedert to potentially have a big game. They haven't really leaned on him that much in the playoffs, but this is the biggest moment. This is one and done. Dallas Goedert could be a sneaky dark horse pick.
All right, there's our MVP draft. Leger, you had Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Dallas Goedert. I had Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Zach Bond, and Milton Williams. Kyle, you had Saquon Barkley, Jalen Carter, Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie. Let's be real, guys. I'm winning this one.